Alrighty, hello guys, Centaurus here again. So I've talked about in a lot of Discords that I haven't actually done it here yet because I tried to, but my shadow play kept cutting out and it was really fucking annoying. But I play a game where I play multiple characters, and you've probably seen that for a lot of my videos that I'm changing characters. And I actually play as them. They're actually NPCs in the game, but I jump into them and I play as them. Now, I don't use the Protheus project, which is a mod that recently come out, which can do that, because it simply doesn't allow you to use race menu overlays, which will butcher every other NPC that uses it. I created myself to a lot of manual labour, and I've shown you a video on how to create your own sort of unique characters and even make them a playable race. And this is kind of where it comes into play. The weather is shit right now. Oh, that's why it's going to start to fucking storm. Fuck off. Alright, so I want to show you guys alternate actors. And I've had a lot of people say it didn't work for them. Yeah, they get a black screen or a crash or something like that. And I had that quite a bit. But I come around to learning how to fix it. So I use EFF, which stands for Extendable Follower Framework, which is a massive follower overhaul. It's how I give my followers tattoos and race menu overlays. It's how I generally manage all my followers. And so forth, so on. So I'm playing Ragni. She is the future Dragonborn. I've put a few pictures up on the Nexus, but anyway, the background is that she had a sister, mother and a father, and they lived in that place you're meant to build in the vanilla game in Morthal, when you're like, you know, for the Hearthfire, but they already had that in the story. And her sister went out and explored the swamp one night without Ragni, and she died. She was found drowned. And then her mother died, then her father died 8 years later, and she just couldn't stay home anymore because the place is too haunting of what she's lost. Her and her family farmed, and so I thought it would be quite useful to give her the amulet of Zenithar, which is the god of commerce and work. And that's her kind of background. She left and wanted to become an adventurer. She did that, you know, doing small missions, retrievals, things that she could do on her own. They weren't too super dangerous. But then eventually she met a team. She fell in love with some Imperial dude. There he is. This man made her a woman. He wasn't Imperial, but he smacked his CEO for throwing his soldiers away into like crap battles, and you know, he had no regard for his men, and he gave him a bit of a smacking, and he got in prison for 3 years and kind of flogged. This was a Stormcloak soldier, but she was left for dead by comrades and didn't really want to join again. But anyway, I'm not going to get into it. She eventually joined this crew of mercenaries, the Orc, who's running the joint. My assassin's character has already been here and killed the leader and got the the pieces of the dagger. So this is like his cousin or something, and he realised that his cousin had left or died, so he just took over in his place. And it's their little base of HQ where they do their little mercenary missions. If you're interested, I'll just get a little talk about how this will how she becomes a Dragonborn. They go out in a mission maybe a few months later, and a dragon comes in there, like a weak, pathetic dragon that couldn't stand its own against another dragon, and it kills her entire crew, but leaves her badly wounded. But they've also, before they've died, have badly injured this dragon, and she finishes it off and becomes the Dragonborn. But anyway, so I use alternate actors to jump into these characters. Now, it's not so straightforward, because I play a lot of custom female characters with their own bodies and skin textures. I've got to build that race so when I jump into that character, it reads all the custom stuff that would be on another follower, and it reads them and puts them on, because it's the default stuff on this custom race. But, for example, I'm going to show you the male, because all my male stuff's vanilla, but I'm going to show you the sort of things you've got to find out, or play around with. You can jump into the creation kit and find out what that NPC's skin tone is, which won't be too hard. But this is kind of what I do. So you don't want them as a follower when you do this. You'll get these spells called Control. Put in Control Humanoid. Now I'm going to dismiss him before I do this.
If you have anything you need from me.
Actually, before that, I'm going to show you the MCM. Alternate actors. Alright, so options. Turn off Dragonborn follower. It's useless. It's fucking useless. Doesn't matter if you revert. It won't revert on death anyway. Turn off all this shit. Turn on debug mode, because debug mode will get you out of that black screen with the little ice spike floating around. You'll see it in real time. Now, right, excuse the nudity. I know you guys won't 6ix9ine me, as in rat me out, but
need something.
We've got the spell activated. We're going to go into him. Now it's just going to freeze a bit and take its time to load. I suggest doing this inside, so your chances of crashing are less. Just let it run its cycle. So make sure your MCM set up to where it's got debug mode, turn off Dragonborn follower, turn off revert death, because if you leave some things on, it will turn the Dragonborn follower back on, even though you've turned it off. But turn off revert on death. I've never transformed into a creature, and I don't think I ever will, because I don't see the need to transform into a creature. Like, how boring is that going to be? Yeah, so it's just going to look like it's frozen. It's just going to take us a little bit of time. As you can hear my game in the background, there we go. It's going to sex change me. Make sure you haven't got caps lock on. If I turned around, you'd see Ragni's head, but in a male body. And I don't want to turn around because I don't want to see a dick. I think his weight is 100, I'm pretty sure. So it's taken away his gear, it's disabled him. Now you see what's wrong here? It's taken her colour palette and just put it onto this orc. This is just going to keep doing this, so I just press Z to finish it. It's going to give him the name. Now, I want to make sure he's weight 100, because I know he's a weight 100. Make sure he's set to the orc race too. Race. See, this is pretty much one of my playable characters. Orc. Alright, body. Yep, set to 100. So, anything that's a colour palette will change. I haven't got a sort of high poly head, so I think these hairs are really made for high poly head. I'm just going to, because it reverts to her skin tone, her hair colour, so any colour palette. Just going to make that, and I think his hair colour was black. His lips are pink. Yeah, it wasn't that black, far out. He had some race menu overlays on. Oh, forgot to change his bloody lip colour. Now also reminding, if you go to control a female character and it sex changes you and you try to give a lipstick, it will still think it's got male lipstick. So before you sex change into another sex, just simply go into the character, go sex change. If it asks you to remember, say no. Do not remember faces. Do not do that shit. So just, I guess if you want to change into a female, just change the character into a female. It won't remember that, of course, when the player or when the NPC spawns back in. Even your main character, like you got Dragonborn follower turned off, you can just revert him back after that. And now I don't really remember what with the Nord. Cover up some of the, because I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure this male hair jobs were created for these paints are also great with the female, but some of them seem to work really well with oh yeah, that was generally it. So now I highly suggest that you don't continue playing the game. I highly suggest that you save. Where the fuck did she go?
Good afternoon. Lead the way.
So now I gotta set her up and make sure she lives here. So she lives in here, comes here and works. So I set her AI up to travel Skyrim when she's on her own. But of course I use my home as your home. And one other mod that I edited where I added like 4 of them. But so now I'm him. I just don't have all the spells that she has because again, these are things that I could really need in this character, like all this stuff. Whoops. That wasn't meant to happen. But anyway, so this is just me showing you how to sort of use alternate actors without it really messing up and playing up on you. Always have debug mode on if you're changing. I didn't do this, or I should have done. If you're changing from a male to a female, just sex change the character. And just jump in the race and just mess around, like give it a preset one so the lipstick lines up. Because like I said, if you jump from a male character to a female character and you go to change your lip colour, it will use the male lip textures, which will look smudged and fucking weird. Like you're a cross-dresser that had way too many pingers and you just got fucking raffle stomped at the, in a public toilet and you've woken up on the side of a gutter in Las Vegas, even though you started your journey in Toronto. So, yeah. This is how I use alternate actors. It's quite good. I really like jumping from character to character. It's not safe to jump from character to character to character in one save. Because if you check my character out, he's still called Ragni, even though the race menu will remember his name. So this is with the race menu. I don't know anyone that wouldn't use the race menu. That's fucking silly. I'm not going to show you how to, because that's just, like I said, fucking silly. Save the game, reload the game. I mean, like, shut the game down and reload it. I'm not too sure. You maybe save the game and reload it. Let's try save Orky. We'll load Orky and we'll see if his name's changed. Could be just safe to do it that way, but the game still thinks you're Ragni. But I'd suggest saving the game, shutting the game down, restarting, playing as this new character until you want to go back to your original character. If you've got custom followers, it will not work, because it will just revert to the default race that they have. If it's a custom follower with its own race, then yes, it should work. It should work. But if not, it will not. So if your follower has a custom body, custom skin texture, but it's still a Nord race, it will revert that NPC back to the Nord race with the skin color you had beforehand and the hair color you had beforehand, and makeup, of course. And remember your makeup. I'm not too sure if it will bring over yet. It'll have anything that you have. So any sort of color format as it race menu overlays, makeups, hair colors, skin colors. It'll remember that from the last character and apply it to the new character. So you get to know what your character skin tone is. And I'd highly suggest get the creation kit and open the mod up and see what it is. Normally, most of the time, it's just a standard paint job of of the races. Sometimes it's custom, which is a pain in the ass. But that's what I highly suggest. So he might be skin tone 3. I'll check that out in the creation kit later, because I might play as him because he's the leader of this mercenary group, and having Ragni lead the group all the time is a bit silly because she's a new member of it. There we go. Changed his name. So it might be safe to play it like this. But I'd suggest you don't. I'd suggest just restarting the game. Because again, he is the pack leader of this mercenary group, and it's just sus kind of seeing the new recruit lead him and his group. That's silly. Anyway, that's how I use alternate actors. I hope this helps some people that wish to change characters, because like the Prothesis project allows you to create a copy of or create versions of your other loads or saves, but it doesn't. You can create, of course, race menu overlays on them, but if you have an NPC that uses the exact same race menu overlays that you've got on that character, it will destroy them in every single one. So, I can't do that because a good 98% of my NPCs, especially the female ones, they have pubic hair if they're like a warrior or so.
Yeah?
She's got the same one I've got on, the Nord 9, I think it is, yeah, across her eye, and some additional shit. If I was to make this guy a copy with Prothesis, it'd break her, she'd get pink. Anyway, so I hope this has helped, and hopefully people out there that do like playing other characters in their current save, going from the Dragonborn to someone else. I hope this really helps you. Anyway, fuck it. I'm shit with goodbyes. Be safe.